Hello everyone, DuvalMafia here, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about all of these early draft rumors between the Jaguars, Texans, Lions, Eagles, Giants, Jets, and more. So to start it off, there's probably 3 can't-miss prospects in this draft in my honest opinion, and their names are Aiden Hutchinson, Kayvon Thibodeaux, and Evan Neal. Those are probably the top 3. Those will probably be picks 1, 2, 3 unless a team reaches on a quarterback, which I don't recommend in this quarterback draft. But I could see the Lions maybe doing it if they fall in love with one of these quarterbacks. Maybe even the Texans, but again, it would take a lot of love from that specific team to take him top 5, top 3, top 2, whatever it may be. So to start off talking about the Jags side of it, I will say my number 1 guy, if we're picking top 3, first off, we're picking top 3. We're in a great spot. I don't know if we're going to be picking top 3 because we do have a couple more winnable games against teams that are actually behind us, being the Jets and the Texans. So if we beat both of them, we probably pick 4 through 6, somewhere in that range. But if we do somehow lose to them and pick number 2 or pick number 3, we automatically get one of the top 3 guys, which would be an A+. Now, my number 1 pick will probably be Kayvon Thibodeaux. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, we need a line. Oh, well, we need this. Oh, well, we need that. I'm going to bring up one thing, and it's going to be one thing only. People are going to quickly forget what the true identity of our 2017 defense was. What was the name of the defense? Was it the secondary? No. Was it the linebackers? No. It was Saxonville. Saxonville, Saxonville, Saxonville. So, what should we draft? More people to get to the quarterback. It's pretty much common sense in all honesty. And I know people are going to say, oh, well, we already have Josh Allen. Oh, well, we already have DeJuan Smoot. Oh, we need a safety. Oh, we need a corner, this and that. No. As much as I would love to see Kyle Hamilton or one of these top safeties in this draft, which is not a great safety draft in my honest opinion. I'm not really wowed by most of these guys. But I don't really see anybody in this draft that I would take over Aiden Hutchinson, Kayvon Thibodeaux, or even George Kalafdis. Those 3 guys, besides maybe Evan Neal, are my top 3 guys this draft, and they're all 3 defensive linemen. That's how good this draft is on defensive line. Now, obviously the Jags are going to have a lot of picks. They have 2 third-round picks. They have, I believe, like 6 or 7 picks between rounds 4 through 7. It's something crazy like that. And so the Jags are going to be able to either A, move up, or B, fill out this roster whatever way they want to, which I absolutely love for the direction of this team, as they are a very young team, and they're still in a rebuild. Now, a lot of people were overly hyped about the Jaguars this year, me included, but I kind of did expect us to pick top 10. I didn't expect us to be as bad as we were, but I'm not exactly mad because it allows us to get another blue chip type prospect to pair with our young quarterback. But, if we're sitting at pick 2 or 3, I'm taking one of the top 3 guys, not even thinking twice. It's the same thing as a Trevor Lawrence pick. It's common sense. You don't overthink it. If we're picking at number 3 and Hutchinson and Thibodeaux go top 2, you take Neal. If Neal and Thibodeaux go top 2, you take Hutchinson, vice versa. It's all 3 are interchangeable for top 3. That's pretty much set in stone in my honest opinion. I'll be shocked if anybody else goes top 3 over those 3 guys. But once you get into that 4 through 8 range for us, it gets a little bit tricky. I know a lot of people are on the Kyle Hamilton train or the Derek Stingley train, and I love these guys as players, but I just don't see it. I really don't see it. Derek Stingley, as good as he is, I don't like the injury that he had, as well as I really don't think he's as truly day 1 elite as people are making him out to be. I don't see a top 5 pick when I watch Derek Stingley. Do I think he could be a very good cornerback? Yes. But I just don't see a top 5 pick. And the same thing with Kyle Hamilton. It's almost impossible to find a secondary piece that's worth a top 5 pick. Jalen Ramsey, of course, is an exception. He was picked number 5 overall. And he's the best cornerback since who? Dion, maybe? He's almost generational, you could use the word, honestly. I mean, and he only went number 5. He didn't even go above number 5. That right there is all the proof that you need to realize, like, you know what? Secondary is really not as highly touted in a draft as you really think. And with the emergence of Tyson Campbell these past few weeks, I'm hoping he continues to build on what he is building. And if he can, along with Shaquille Griffin, I'm really honestly okay with our cornerback position. Maybe a slot cornerback could be in our future between the draft or the free agency. But I'm not drafting a slot corner in the first round. Absolutely not. Just out of the question. I would be extremely upset if we did that, honestly. And then to move on from that, another thing I will say is Kyle Hamilton is nice, but I don't see anything special in him, truthfully. I do think he's going to be a Pro Bowl safety at some point in his career, and I would love to pick him up, but I don't see him having an impact that people are projecting him to have. I mean, do I think he's going to be special? Yes. I will not say he's bad. I'm never going to say he's bad. I think he's probably going to be a top 10 safety in this league for a very long time, and I wouldn't be mad if we picked him, but I just don't think a safety is what you pick top 5. I just don't see it. I mean, there's very few safeties that have gone that high that have warranted that type of value. I mean, there's so many safeties that are picked up in these middle rounds, given 1 to 2 years of practice and coaching and training and whatever words you want to use, conditioning, and they turn into these absolute studs. I mean, you don't really need to draft the top guys always. Now, again, I wouldn't be mad with the pick, but you can't tell me that Kyle Hamilton is going to have more of an impact than a guy on the D-line that's going to need to be double-teamed every other snap, along with Josh Allen on the other side, because you can't double-team both. Or a franchise left tackle or a franchise tackle to protect Trevor Lawrence. You cannot convince me that those are, like, not more important. You're just not going to convince me. I've been saying it for years. The top 3 most valuable positions in all of football are quarterback, left tackle, and defensive line. I've been saying it for years. I mean, I don't know when people are going to catch on to, like, that's obviously what NFL GMs do, because if you look at the top paid positions, those are the top 3 paid positions for a reason. So I know people are going to get really upset with me about this, and I understand it, but I would not pick Kyle Hamilton unless he's literally the best available, with Thibodeau, Hutchinson, Neal, Karlaftis, and all these other guys are completely off the board. That's the only way I'm taking him. Like, honestly, I don't know if I would take him anything higher than 7th. 7th is probably the highest I would take him at this point. That's the honest truth. Now, he is projected to go top 5, and I personally don't agree with it, but, I mean, that's where he's projected to go. And another name that I will say I like a lot for us is Tyler Linderbaum. Now, obviously, I probably wouldn't draft him in the top 5 or top 4 because he is an interior lineman, but, I mean, the kid is something crazy out of Iowa State right now. Like, or Iowa, sorry. Iowa. But the kid is something crazy at Iowa right now. I mean, he's away and far above any other interior line in this draft, in my honest opinion. I mean, there's a couple good interior line, but he heads the board, and it's really not close. So if we really want to shore up our interior line, he's a great way to go. I believe he is a center at Iowa, so I don't know if that would be a problem with Linder, because Linder's a fringe Pro Bowl center. I don't know if we want to move on from him so quickly. But if they are looking to, he's definitely a great option. But again, you can't convince me that Karlaftis, Hutchinson, Thibodeau, and Neal, if one of those guys is a Jacksonville Jaguar after the 2022 draft, I'm going to be jumping out of my shoes. Like, those are all A-plus picks in my eyes, truthfully. Now, there's a couple guys that I wouldn't mind, but again, I mean, those are the guys that I see worth our picks. Again, if we end up with a Derek Stingley, or we'll end up with a Kyle Hamilton, or we'll end up with a Linderbaum, I'm not going to be mad. Like, those are good picks. But I just don't think the value is there, in my honest opinion. Because I don't see us picking top 5 for a very long time after this year. I really don't. This team is going to hit a corner sooner rather than later, and I just don't think it's worth doing that right now. The only other guy that I could maybe see sneak up to us in that scenario is maybe DeMarvin Leal, but again, I don't see it. I mean, he's got great size for an interior defensive lineman. He's got great stats from all 3 years in college. But still, I don't see the value there. I mean, when you watch the tape, it's clear who the game wreckers are, and Thibodeau, Hutchinson, and then Karlaftis, which is a close third to those top two in my eyes. I mean, those are the top 3 game wreckers of this draft. That's just how it is. So to finally just put it on paper, if I were to pick number 1 overall, I would probably take Thibodeau, simply off of what we have on our defensive line right now. I think Thibodeau would fit better than Hutchinson. I wouldn't be mad with Hutchinson at all. I mean, they're both going to be Pro Bowl defensive ends, let's be honest. But I see Hutchinson actually more in a 4-3 than a 3-4, truthfully. And then number 3 is probably Neal, and then number 4 is probably Karlaftis. That right there is my ideal draft order: Thibodeau, Hutchinson, Neal, Karlaftis. So if we're picking number 4 and we get any of those guys, I'm happy. If we're picking number 5, we get any of those guys, I'm happy. If we're picking 6 through 8 and we get any of those guys, I'm ecstatic. Now, that's very unlikely, but I'm ecstatic if we get one of those guys in that spot. Obviously, we're not in the quarterback market, which is a huge good thing for us, because we obviously don't have to look at one of these. I don't even like the quarterbacks in this draft anyways, to be completely honest, but that's a great thing that we don't have to worry about. I mean, I will say there's one guy that I could see shoot off draft boards if he continues to ball out, but I'm going to say straight up, I don't think it's going to happen, but he is a name that I've seen a lot of hype around, and his name is Devin Lloyd. Devin Lloyd has been something special for Utah. I mean, you look at his numbers and you look at his size. For a 4-3 linebacker or a 3-4 inside linebacker, it's unheard of. Like, it really is. And I mean, he's having a breakout year in 2021. I'm pretty sure Utah's done now. They might have one more game. I honestly don't know Utah's schedule off the top of my head, but I mean, he had an insane year when you look at his stats. He had 100 tackles, 22 tackles for loss. Yes, 22. And he had 7 sacks, 3 interceptions, and 6 passes broken up, and a forced fumble. I mean, the kid was insane. Like, I love him, and he's 6'3", 232 at the linebacker position, which is great size. I mean, that's one of the bigger linebackers you're going to find, but he flies all over the field. So, that's one guy you could really, if he shoots up draft boards, but again, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but any of those guys that I've talked about, if we get any of those guys, I'm going to be super happy with this draft. And if in a trades down scenario, I would be extremely happy with a lot of people. I will probably get into that scenario because there has been rumors of it. I don't think it's going to happen. If we're able to get somebody like Evan Neal to protect Trevor Lawrence, I don't see us trading down from that. That would be very stupid with how inconsistent our O-line has been. But I'm hoping that if we do trade down, we do get great value out of it. If we trade down into the late teens or even into the 20s, I want to see somebody like a game changer, as well as we use those picks that we get from that to really revamp this entire offense, hopefully. But that's asking for too much, I feel like. So to quickly wrap up this video, I'm going to say thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. And my final thoughts will be George Karlaftis is going to be a very good defensive end in the National Football League, and he should be in the conversation with Hutchinson or Thibodeau. And I'm going to say that out right now, before anybody else hops on that train and tries to take claim for it. I'm going to have proof right here. So thank you for listening, and peace out.